Yes, we're going to go ahead and start right now. It's 9 o'clock. So I know that our second and third graders are now joining us, and really excited to hear from you all. We just met with our kindergarten and first grade students here in Alexandria City Public Schools. But as you all are joining, first and foremost, I just want to say welcome to our session this morning. Our goal today is to hear from each and every one of you. You all have to understand that your voice is power, and not just now, but forever. Your voice will always be power. And our goal is, as we are going into this reopening of our schools, it's important that we hear some of the questions that you all may have. And as we go throughout this session today, we want you to use the chat box to ask questions. And we have a team of staff here to answer those questions throughout this session. So I have a very, very special guest that I'm going to introduce to you all. And you might know me, you might not, but his name is Dr. Herring. He is our health director for the Alexandria Health Department, and he is a medical doctor, meaning that he has insight and expertise in the health profession. And we're really excited to hear about a few tips that he's going to give us to make sure that we're being safe and that we're able to transition into our school buildings in a very safe manner. So Dr. Herring, I'm going to turn things over to you.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here with everybody. I have three things to tell you, three things that will help to keep you safe and help to keep other people safe. The first is physical distancing, social distancing. It's 6 feet. So if you don't know what 6 feet is, it's the width of a car, or it's like two big dogs that are lined up next to each other. Maybe get a ruler or a yardstick or something and see what 6 feet is. It's actually much bigger than what most people think. So staying 6 feet from others is the first thing. The second thing is wearing a mask appropriately. I'm wearing a mask over your nose and your mouth, not just over your mouth, but over your nose and your mouth, not under your chin. Wearing that is very important. And then the third thing is washing your hands. And I think everybody knows how to wash their hands, but what I'm going to do is show you a trick that I use, and I sing a little song to myself. So that way I'm sure I wash my hands for the appropriate amount of time. So I'm using soap and water, and I sing, "Happy Wednesday to me, happy Wednesday to me, happy Wednesday, dear Stephen. Happy Wednesday to me," and Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And that puts me right at about 20 seconds of washing my hands. If a sink and soap and water are not available, using hand gel. But don't wipe the hand gel off on your clothes. Make sure you just keep rubbing it until it air dries. So those are the three things: the physical distancing, the mask over your nose and mouth, and the washing of hands appropriately. So I'm excited to be here with you all and look forward to the questions that you all have.
And thank you, Dr. Herring. As I said this before, you have missed your calling to be an educator. So we want you in the classroom as soon as we get back into our buildings, please. But we're going to now hear from each and every one of you. We wanted to dedicate this time to really provide answers to any questions that you all have. So as I stated before, make sure that you are using the chat box to write your questions. And I'm going to start with a few questions because we already have some here. The first question is, what is a friend or other student, or what is a friend or other student? Oh, what if a friend or other student takes off their mask? What happens, or what should you do? Dr. Herring, I think that's a question for you. What if a friend or other student takes off their mask?
I think it actually is, you know, one of the things that we say in public health is a lot of times we have to say it depends. If it's a friend whose mask has dropped down a little bit, they might not realize it, and maybe just saying, maybe just reminding them, nudging and pointing to your mask that's on appropriately. If it's somebody that is being non-compliant, they're not wanting to, then I would suggest that you talk to the teacher at that point and have the teacher intervene. I think a lot of times just by us behaving and modeling good behavior, that's enough. But a lot of times, even here at the health department, sometimes I forget. I'm the health director and we're in the middle of a pandemic, but other people remind me, and it helps me to protect myself and protect others.
That's right. Thank you, Dr. Herrick. A friendly reminder is always good, for anybody around. Just a friendly reminder, of course, about wearing our mask. So question 2 is, how will we play in the gym, and will it be limited? So Dr. Mozingo, this is a question for you. So how will students play in the gym when we return back into our school buildings?
Thank you. What a great question, because I think you are remembering in the past, you would have 2, 3, or 4 classes in the gym at the same time. So and the second part of your question was, will it be limited? Absolutely. So first, there will be access. Your teachers and principals will make sure there's access to the gym, but it will be limited. Limited in that there will be fewer classes, and you will still be required to maintain the 6 feet social distancing, even while you're in the gym. But yes, access for sure.
Thank you, Dr. Mozingo. Dr. Wilkins, this is a question for you because it relates to human resources. Will we have 2 teachers in case one teacher gets sick when we're going to school? So will we have 2 teachers in case one teacher gets sick? Dr. Wilkins. I think you're on mute, Dr. Wilkins.
Thank you for that question. I think that the answer is it depends. If the classroom requires additional help, we certainly will try to provide an additional teacher or a teaching assistant to support the classroom. But your education is first and foremost our priority, and we will do all we can to ensure you have a good learning day.
We have to keep in mind, we do have substitute teachers that we're going to need when we get back into school, just like we had substitute teachers before the global pandemic. Sometimes teachers get sick, or they're out, or they have an emergency that they have to get to, and we all have substitutes there to assist us along the way. So the next question is, do we have to bring our own mask and sanitizer? Dr. Hart, this could be a good question about, PPE and how we have someone on board for our families.
Absolutely. So thank you for that question. So I first want to say, no, you do not need to bring your own mask or hand sanitizer. We are already prepped to provide you with the appropriate face covering or mask and hand sanitizer when you come to school. But I will say, I know that a lot of us just from day-to-day life have already gotten a number of our own masks, and some of you all may have a favorite mask at home that you're wearing on a day-to-day basis. So if you would rather wear that mask to school, you absolutely can. We're open either way. We just want to make sure that, you are wearing a mask. But again, if you have a mask that you love and you like to wear, you are more than welcome to wear that to school.
Thank you, Dr. Hart. So Dr. Mozingo, this is a question for you. Will I have to use a computer in the classroom?
One of the nice things about Alexandria is that all of our students, we have computers in our classrooms. So absolutely, we're going to set those classrooms, although there will be a smaller number of students in the classrooms, we're going to still set them up like a typical classroom for you. And yes, you will have access to a computer for learning in the classroom.
But that doesn't mean that you're going to learn the same way you're learning at home.
Because
I think that might be where they're getting to. Right now, they're using their computer all the time to learn.
All the time, right.
When we're in person, you're not going to be on your computer the whole time, right? Because we want, you're going to now have in-person learning, and the instructor will be right there to help and assist. So the next question, and this is for Dr. Herring, will I have to get the vaccination to come back to school?
It will not be a requirement to get the COVID-19 vaccination. It's certainly something that, as the health director, as a medical doctor, that I'm recommending that people get the vaccination when it becomes available, but it's not a requirement.
Thank you, Dr. Herring. And Dr. Hart, I know you answered this question previously in another session, but how will students use the bus? Because it will look a little different this year.
Absolutely. So you would still, if you are a traditional rider of the bus, would ride the bus to school. And what would that look like? You would have to get on the bus with your face mask on, and it'll be one student per bench. So in the past, you may have been able to sit, 2 or 3 students to one bench, but this time it'll only be one student per bench. And then there will be additional benches in between you and the next student. So it might be 2 benches or it might be 3 benches, because we want to make sure that we're giving you all the appropriate space to keep you safe.
Thank you, Dr. Hart. So is school going to start now, or is it going to start next year? And that's a really good question, because what we are preparing for is to transition students back into our school buildings beginning January the 19th. So that's in a couple of months. And the goal is to transition all the students that are able to return back to school in grades pre-K through 12 by the end of February. So we're going to start January 19th, and we're going to go through February to have all of our students that are able to return back into our schools. Now, we have to keep in mind that this is all contingent upon staffing, our building capacity, as well as our community health metrics. And that's just like where we are with the community spread and how many people are positive in our community. So there are a lot of things that depend, that are dependent upon us returning back, but the goal is to begin returning back in January. So next question is, can we still play with our friends? So Dr. Mazingo, can we still play with our friends in school?
What a great question. Okay, yes, what great question, because we know that play matters so much and you want to have time with your friends. And I want to answer it in this way. You will have time with the friends. However, remember, you still have to maintain that 6 feet social distancing. You'll still have to wear the mask. So the play will be a little different because you won't be as close to each other, but there'll be opportunities in school, and the teachers will come up with some play activities and groups for you, but also adhering to those guidelines for your safety also.
Thank you, Dr. Mazingo. So Dr. Hart, how will students eat lunch? Are they going to eat in the cafeteria?
Thank you, Dr. Hutchings. So lunch will be different when we come back to school. We will not be eating in the cafeteria, but we will be able to eat in the classroom. So you'll be able to be at your desk and take your mask off, eat your lunch, wash your hands, and then you'll be back to putting your mask on. So lunch will look different this year, but it will still be part of the school day.
Thank you, Dr. Hart. So this is a question that, a lot of students are probably hearing. My mom doesn't want me to come back to school. Can I stay home and continue with my learning from home? So Dr. Mazingo, will students be able to stay home when we return back to school?
Absolutely, yes. You will be able to stay home. You'll be able to maintain the virtual instruction that you are receiving now. Absolutely, the answer is yes.
Thank you, Dr. Mazingo. And one of the things that we're going to talk about, I'm going to remind you all about, is the family choice form. And this is a form for your families to complete to state whether they intend for you to come back into in-person learning or to remain in virtual learning. So Dr. Hart, I think you kind of touched on this earlier. What if I lose my mask during the day? Will there be masks available?
Absolutely. We are making sure that our schools have enough masks to cover any instance. So if you forget for some reason to bring your mask, we'll have one for you. If you lose it throughout the day, or if one of your straps breaks, we'll be able to replace the mask for you in the day. So please don't worry about that. We'll make sure that you guys have what you need.
It's a great question. Thank you, Dr. Hart. So Dr. Mazingo, how will I hand in my work and how will I talk to my teacher? So can you talk to that?
So when you're back in school for those 2 days, remember you'll be taught by a teacher. You will have a desk. You'll have your technology. So there will be times for sure that you will have the mask on, but you'll have to take the mask off at certain times when you're having discussions. So that will be a part of the learning in the classroom during that time. For handing in the work will probably similar to what you've done before. There will be places set up in the classroom for you to be able to turn your work in. The nice part about being back in school is that you are with the teacher and you will be able to interact and talk with the teacher. The teacher will also probably have on a mask, but they will be able to talk through that mask from time to time.
So the next question is about how will we maintain distance when we line up in the mornings? And Dr. Mazingo, I think you just spoke to this, that we want to continue to have the 6-foot distancing even when we're in lines in the hallways. So that is how we're going to maintain that distance. And our staff will be there to monitor and to make sure that we're adhering to those guidelines. So the next question is, will I get to go the same days? So I'm assuming, will I get to go to school the same days as my older sister? So will I get to go to school the same days as my older sister? And it depends. It really depends. We're going to try to have it so that families are going to school on similar days, but it really is going to depend on how our schedules pan out once we get this family choice information. The goal is to have our students in 2 days per week and to have them in person 2 days. These are students who are able, and that them being virtual the other 3 days out of the week. It might work in some cases where we can have them on the same days, but it really is going to depend on the grade level and the school, and there are a number of factors. But we are going to try to get our siblings to be in our buildings at the same time and on the same days to not cause any conflicts at home. So the next question is, do we have to bring our computers to school every day? What if I forget it? And I guess this goes back to when we typically have school. So when you don't have school, typically we have additional computers or laptops available for our students to use in our buildings. But our intent when we get back to in person is not to be on the computer the whole time like you are in the virtual world. So we're hoping to have a shift when we get back into our school buildings to not be on the computers all day. Next question, if I have to sneeze when my mask is on my face, what is the safest way to do this in class, Dr. Herring?
That's a great question. And what I'll do is I'll actually put my mask on and show you what I would suggest. So I have my mask on, and frequently one can know that a sneeze is coming up. And there's a couple of options here. One is you still want to cover the cough. The purpose of this mask is to protect me from other things in the air and to protect others from my breathing things out. And of course, if I sneeze, I'm breathing a whole lot of stuff out. So if I have my mask on and I know a sneeze is coming, and you generally have enough time to go ahead and sneeze into your elbow. And if you're able, and after that, of course, then the inside of your mask might be wet. That's when it would be a good time to ask for a change of your mask. After you take this mask off, you want to wash your hands or use hand gel and put the other mask on. If, on the other hand, you know the sneeze is coming on, and if you can remove this and adequately cover your nose and your mouth with your elbow, then you could do that and then put your face mask back on. Again, you're going to want to wash your hands with soap and water or hand gel.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Herring, for the demonstration. Dr. Hart, you may be able to help with this. Can I bring a book bag and use the cubbies in the classroom?
Yes, you can bring your book bag if the classroom has cubbies. And if it doesn't have cubbies, you will have to keep the book bag with you in your person, because what we want to make sure we're not doing is having each other's book bags touch or intermingling at this time. So cubbies will allow you some separation to where you can hang your items and they won't touch each other. But if there aren't any cubbies, you would just have to make sure that your book bag stays with you on the back of your chair, or somewhere near your desk.
Thank you, Dr. Hart. So Dr. Mazingo, are school days going to be longer, or are they going to be the same as our regular school hours?
They will be the same as the regular school hours. The school day will not be any longer than it is when you return.
Thank you. And that is the same as they were when we were in school previously, right?
Right.
Because some schools right now on virtually, they're getting some breaks and their days seem a little shorter than typical. But we will go back to our typical day when we were in school prior to this global pandemic
Which I wanted to
in
add, Dr.
regards to
Hutchins,
length.
for
Go
you,
ahead,
for the students,
Dr.
just
Mazengo.
it's around 8 to 2:30. I think that's the other question. They're probably trying to get the time frame, but it'll be 8 to 2:30 is the typical day.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mazengo, for that clarification. So how many students are in a classroom, Dr. Hart? I know you touched on this in a previous question that was asked at another session, of course. How many
So
students will be in a classroom?
that is going to depend on the school location. Each school is built a little differently, which means class sizes are either smaller or larger depending on what school you attend. So just know that your classrooms, that the desk will be set up 6 feet apart to maintain that social distance. But more information will be coming for specific schools so we can answer that question with specificity for your particular school.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Hart. So Dr. Mazengo, will we still have encore classes?
Yes, we will still, you'll still have encore. You'll have your literacy, your math, your science, your dance, your health, your PE, your drama. Yes, you'll have a full complement of core classes and encore. Still meeting though, those requirements regarding social distancing and 6 feet.
And wearing the face coverings at all times. So Dr. Herring, just a quick thing, will we have to get tested for COVID-19 regularly?
No, only if you were to have symptoms and your doctor cannot attribute your illness to something else. The COVID test doesn't prevent the transmission from one person to another. It can let you know that you might have it, but it's those 3 things: the social distancing, the face mask, and the hand washing that are going to be really important.
Thank you, Dr. Herring. So are we still going to have the independent work on Mondays, Dr. Mazengo? Is that still going to happen? Right now we have our virtual Mondays. Are we still going to have that asynchronous day Mondays?
Yes, we will. Yes, the answer is yes. You will still have that day on Monday.
Thank you, Dr. Mazengo. And Dr. Mazengo, another question for you. Will we be able to use books from the library? So I love that we have our readers out there. So will we be able to use our books from the library?
Yes, we do love that question. And we actually will have the librarians work on this and to develop a process for that to occur. There will probably definitely have to be some guidance. But yes, we'll have to work on a process for you to be able to access the library and check out books.
So yes, they will be accessing books. It just will be in kind of a routine basis on how you go in to pick up and drop off books. But you will still have access to books because reading is fundamental. This is a question that just touched my heart. It said, what will we have to do if we are in the middle of school and then we come, no, I'm sorry. I want to get this one first. This was the one that I was like, wow, but then this other question came up. Can I bring a stuffed animal? It makes me feel less nervous about being in school again. So can students bring the stuffed animals to school? And it goes back to what Dr. Hart had mentioned earlier. We will need to, if you're going to bring in a stuffed animal, that it will have to stay with you. It's not something you will be able to pass around class and allow other people to use your stuffed animal, because we're trying to limit the interactions that students are having with other students. But we want to do whatever is going to help you feel more comfortable being in our schools. And it is okay. Dr. Crawford had mentioned this earlier. It's okay to be a little nervous about coming back to school. That is definitely normal. And we're going to help you in any way we can. If it's having a stuffed animal make you feel better, then of course we want you to have your stuffed animal when you come back. So question 26, what will we have to do if we are in the middle of school and then we have to go back home? And that's a great question, because we just did this recently. We had some students who were in school for the past couple of weeks. And then this week they are back at home on virtual. So if we're in a situation where we have to close the schools again, then we would go back to the virtual world that we're currently in right now. And that is how we would always transition back. can we still use the water fountains, and how can I get a drink of water? So Dr. Hart, can you answer that question?
Sure. So we are still looking into whether or not we should use the water fountains. As you know, we want to make sure that we're keeping everyone away from germs as much as possible. And water fountains, just because a lot of people touch them throughout the day, may not be the best course of action. However, we will make sure that you guys still are able to get drinks of water, whether that is by bringing a water bottle from home that you can refill throughout the day, maybe bottles of water. We're still working through all of that, but again, we will make sure that you're able to get water throughout the day.
And thank you. And then we have one last question that Dr. Herring, if you can answer this for us. How do we keep away from germs?
From the germs that cause us problems, there's several things. One is stay home if you're feeling sick. Stay home if you're feeling ill. It used to be when I was in school, it's like you had to tough through when you were sick. But now it's actually much smarter to stay home. That way you're not spreading germs. And if you do that and your friends do that, everybody's going to be healthier. The other thing are the three things I talked about at the beginning: the 6 foot of distancing, the wearing the face covering, the face mask over your nose and mouth, and then the hand washing. Those things are really, really important.
And thank you so much, Dr. Herring. And thank you all for all of your questions. So insightful with your questioning, and we're really excited and very honored to have you all here with us this morning. So this is one thing that I want you all to take away, in addition to all of the answers that we provided to you all today. Please be sure that your families are completing the Family Choice Form. This form can be found in PowerSchool, and this is not the same login that you do, because there's a student login for PowerSchool. There's also a family login, and if your family does not have that, there will be directions on how to access a family account so that they can complete the form. And this choice form is going to state whether your family wants you to return back to in-person learning beginning in January through February, or remain in the virtual world that you're currently doing right now. So please get that word out. We're going to send some information later on this afternoon to all of our families in ACPS. But if you can just mention it to your families, this afternoon or this morning or this evening, please just remind them to complete those forms and help them out if they need some support. We also have support with our helpline if they need access. So I want to just continue to ask you all to stay engaged, to stay safe, and to get back to learning, because I do know that you're missing a few minutes of time of your synchronous work with your teachers. But we think this is so important for you all to have the opportunity to speak with the superintendent and also our staff about your questions. So have a good day.